In Clay County, 92% of those who are eligible to register to vote are registered in Clay County. That's a phenomenal number. The mid-70s is a statewide average, 92%. The reason why is we're in the schools. We're in the schools early. We go into the schools in elementary and certainly junior high school with the Sunshine State Young Readers Award. We, of course, conduct elections now. They used to raise their hand on what their favorite book was. Not very scientific, it was useful, and it got them the pizza that they were really looking for. But what we do is we actually vote on what their favorite book is, who their favorite author is, and then we tally that up. And that's important because the book is recognized and the author is recognized on a national level. But what it does is it ensures, because we have dialogue, do you realize that your mom and dad use this very same piece of equipment? And it sets the tone, hopefully, for them for life. The worst thing that we could ever do is when an individual walks into that booth for the very first time, that's the very first time that they see what a ballot looks like. That's the very first time that they see what voting equipment looks like. Because you're going to have a couple of responses. Number one, it's going to take your focus on what you're there for, vote, and it's going to shift it towards this new technology, this new event. So we want to do anything that we can do to make sure that that's not going to happen. We're also in the high schools. Yes, we are mandated to do voter registration in high schools, but we're not mandated to do a civics class, but we do. Because sadly, up until recent years, civics was removed from the schools. And so it's important for them, if you're going to ask somebody to get engaged into the process, they need to have some skin in the game, I believe. And so it's important for us to talk about civics and to talk about the voting process. Why do we focus on voter education and outreach? Well, number one, again, turnout. It's sad, but the truth of the matter is we can knock it out of the park 364 days out of the year, but we're judged on election day. And wrongfully so, I believe, we're judged on the success of an election is on the turnout. Something that I don't control. But who does control it? Well, vis-a-vis, we all do in a way. And that's why I think it's important for us to have those questions. And the reason why is because we potentially, 2012, if you voted in Florida in 2012, raise your hand. Okay, do you remember that ballot? Remember how painful that ballot was? Well, guess what? Coming to an election real soon, you could potentially have another multi-page, multi-side election. We have a full slate of offices in the general election. We also, with the fact that the State Constitutional Revision Commission, everybody know about that, right? An event happens once every 20 years, okay? They have the opportunity, sometimes they take it, sometimes they don't. They have the opportunity to really address issues that are worthy of the ballot. And so we now have three amendments to be placed on the ballot by the legislature, right? Okay. We have 2 additional citizens initiatives. That gives you 5. How many did we have that came out of the state CRC? 8. Okay. So the 8 goes and adds to the 5. Okay. And then every 4 years in Clay County, because we're a charter county, Bob knows this. He's been there every single month, I guess it is, or 2 weeks or whatnot. So have I. I've been there at every single one of them. And the reason why is because after it's all done, who are they going to ask, what's this mean and what's on the ballot? Probably me. So I think it's important for me to sit there, not to be a spur in anybody's side, but just just to know what the process was. So it looks like there's going to be 2, very likely that there's going to be 2. So we had the 5, we had the 8, which is 13, we had the 2, which is
15.
That's why our ballot is going to be so long. Okay? And so it's incumbent upon all of us to start talking today about the need for education, the need for you to become educated as to what the amendments mean. I'm going to do my part. As soon as the state puts out the constitutional amendment guides and provides them to me, I'm going to have them in bulk at my office, and whenever I go out and speak, I'll have them with me. They'll be available for you to come. Today, you can come to our website and you can click on constitutional amendments and you can read them right now today. Okay? And I think it's important in the community for us to talk about it, because I think that not too many people know of the length of the ballot. That there, if you took front and back, it means that your ballot is going to be somewhere. If you took it to regular single-side sheets of paper, your ballot would be about 6 feet long. Okay, 17-inch front and back, front and back. So I think it's important for us to go ahead and get that word out now. And that's why I spend so much time going out and speaking. Number one, to let people know that regardless of what you hear, the tabulation network is never connected to the internet and has never been hacked in any state in the United States. Voter registration attempts, I think to date that there's been 3 or 4, and it doesn't take you very long. All you have to do is look to last week's event in Knox County, Tennessee, to see the effects of a denial of service campaign against election night reporting last Tuesday night. Okay, so the threat's real, and for us to get engaged into it. Vote by mail ballots. Again, I sent a card out. It is important for everybody to realize the significance of voting by mail and the fact that it is a very transparent process. Even the opening of the ballots. Is there anybody ever taken place in this room on opening of the ballots? And so you can attest to it's 3 to 4 people, and by the time you touch a ballot, you don't even know whose envelope it was in, and it's done by process by that. So voter anonymity is maintained. It's a very structured process to make sure that the ballot is opened and secrecy is maintained. Vote by mail ballots will go out to UACAVA, Uniform Overseas Civilian Absent Voter Act, UACAVA. It will go out to UACAVA voters, military voters, on July 13th. July 13th, we will mail all of the vote by mail ballots, followed up by domestic July 24th. Now those just aren't randomly pulled out of the air. These are statutorily defined dates that we will send those ballots out. Early voting will be the 18th here at this location in August until the 25th. As a matter of fact, if you've got a wonderful little refrigerator magnet that you have, it has the early voting dates on there. It doesn't have the times on there, and the reason why is because those are a little bit more difficult to define back when we printed those out. But it will be from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. 9 a.m., 6 p.m., and it will be all the way to the 25th. Will be the end of early voting. 6 convenient locations. You can go at any time during the day. We also, for a number of years, have joined with Clay County Transit on Democracy Express. If there are individuals who are aged and individuals that have special needs that don't have transportation or have transportation issues to get to the polls, then for years now they've been able to call Clay Transit and schedule a ride on the Democracy Express. They will come to their house and they will pick them up, and then they will take them to an early voting site for them to cast their ballot. Now, it's just during early voting because transportation is a premium in Clay County, as you know. But that is another service that we've offered for a number of years. Again, I would argue that unlike any other time in history before, has access to voting or access to a ballot never been so available as it is today.